provide the goods, we provide the service. I'm your host, Durzer, and today we're going to be joined by the LittleSproatie, who is the community director of the BVRR, and CDtrumpet5, who is the founder and the corrupt CEO of the BVRR. How's it going, fellas?
It's great.
Hello.
I totally biffed the stream part. It came in like halfway through the greeting, but
Oh, there it is. Well, I'm Sproatie, I'm the community director here at the Blueberry Valley Railroad, and Trumpet is the BVRR director, so he does everything in game. He kind of takes over as I don't get into the game as much anymore because I'm focusing a lot on the server side.
All right. Well, let's start with getting to know you two. Let's what got you into trains?
well, I guess I can go first. What got me into trains is as a kid, I was very interested in patterns. And my grandfather was, he was a rail fan, and he grew up in probably the perfect time to be a rail fan, which was the transition era of like the late 40s, early 50s. So he got to see, all of the steam engines transition over to diesel power. So with all the early diesels that everyone loves, like the F7s, all of that. And he would get me all of these like videos on trains or books on trains. And when I saw steam engines running for the first time, like on video, and just seeing, I remember it was like one of the Santa Fe Northerns that I saw. It's one of my earliest memories of trains. Just seeing the drive wheels and like the side rods just spinning around, I was like transfixed on it. And near where I grew up in Connecticut, there was a railroad museum called the Valley Railroad. Um, and I got to see steam like in person, which was, you know, just really incredible. Just hearing it, hearing the whistle like live. Like I didn't realize how loud those things were. And we also had an enormous model railroad in our basement. We had two layouts. One was HO and one was O gauge. The HO table was three 30-foot tables. Actually, maybe not 30 feet. That's like a little. It was probably like three 15-foot tables next to each other. And then the O gauge was, snaking around the basement, 9 tables worth of, just trains. And we had all sorts of stuff. We had Santa Fe, Super Chiefs. We had like the Lionel Hudsons, a lot of early Lionel stuff. We had an Ives company train. If people know what that is, that was a 100-year-old company that eventually got bought out by Lionel, and we had one of their 90, 100-year-old electric trains. It was like a little box cab, and I just remember going down there with my friends and just playing it's like, oh, we gotta bring these boxcars to the city and stuff, and so I really have my grandfather to thank for my love of trains, and that's
Oh,
that's about it.
that's pretty awesome and a pretty big collection you've had too. Brody, what about yourself?
So for me, I live very close to a train station. There's one just a couple of 100 meters away from me. So I've grown up watching trains, and ever since I could talk, really, I always wanted to be a train driver. I went to the park, which is right next to the railway line, watched the trains go by. The drivers of the freight trains would often park in the passing loop, in the down loop, which is right next to the park as well. So I would talk to the drivers of the trains. Um, I'd often see steam trains because we had the steam trains sometimes run on the main line as well, like heritage ones. Once a week, usually they came on a weekend. And from there, it kind of grew really. I ended up getting work experience when I was in secondary school at a larger train station around 40 minutes from me. I've got some good experiences from that. A lot of carnage there. I did get the opportunity to do a train announcement right across the whole station. However, I chickened out because it was like a 12 platform station, hundreds of people down there. So I chickened out. I regret that. I have done dispatching mainline trains at the station near me and the bigger station just up from me, as well as I've done train announcements on a mainline train as well, because I was sat next to the train manager in his little box watching the CCTV, and then he said, "Hey, do you want to do an announcement? Here's a microphone. You can announce that we're coming into this next station." And there's around 200, 300 people on this train. Absolutely amazing. You guys may have heard of the Eurostar. I've been in the cab of that. I managed to get a quick cab tour because we've got a family, someone in our distant family is works there, so we managed to get on there. So yeah, I've kind of always grown up around trains, but my train driver career choice veered a little bit after my second work experience. Not because of the experience, but because I found an interest in a different career.
Right. Sproatie, you're a strapping young man. When did you get your first engineer hat?
My first engineer hat was when I was... Oh, God. I have the photo as well. I will have been 11 and a half, 12 was when I got my first engineer's hat. And I was stood on the side of a steam train and everything.
Well, gotta start them young. Let's move on. What do you do in real life? Away from the game, away from trains, what are your passions?
I guess if we're going in order here, so as you can see by my profile picture, both on Twitch and on Discord, I am a trumpet player. I am a professional musician.
We
Currently,
can tell that from the name either. Really.
oh yeah, true. I sing, I play the trumpet, I produce, I arrange, compose, and perform. Right now, I am in 4 or 5 bands. I don't remember how many. It's more of just like, hey, can you be there on this day? And I'm like, yeah. Well, what's the pay? And it's kind of I don't know. I'm kind of a contract musician. I do a lot of my original music as well. I'm signed to a label called GGL Music Incorporated. It's a developing startup label, which is made up of a group of a lot of friends of mine, and we just like put our music out, and we're trying to pitch it to movies and TV. I also just got off a job composing oldies sounding songs for this guy who runs an oldies cover band but wants to like have it be more of a profitable venture. So we're trying to pitch original songs that sound like oldies to TV and movie studios. So I got hired to do that because that is my specialty. If you've seen like my barbershop quartet content, and I arranged all the vocals in that style, but had it kind of like a Chuck Berry, like Frank Sinatra sort of thing, depending on what the guy wanted. And I just try to do, everything I can within my power to have like music be like my main source of income. And so far, it's been extremely successful, which I never thought would happen, and I'm just extremely grateful for that.
All right, moving on from the music man to the sprout that could.
And Sprout that could. So when I'm not building this server, I don't have too much time, as I am a full-time police officer in the UK. So I have a very, 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 very varied job, very intense job. So I don't really get much time to do much else when I'm not working. I am on here doing things in the background, working for the community and playing games on here. So, but outside of here, really, I like to go on walks and things like that. I love camping. I'm actually going camping this weekend. So yeah, I like the outdoors. But yeah, outside of Discord, I am a police officer.
Well then, remind me not to do anything suspicious while in your company, as you.
It's
Well,
narrow gauge. There's no rules.
The whole
there are
the
no
whole
rules.
of the Blueberry Valley Railroad is just a corrupt network of rails.
Well, speaking about the Blueberry Valley, Trumpet, this one is for you. Where did the name Blueberry Valley come from?
Aha, so going all the way back to when I first began streaming, I had two other friends who streamed with me, and we actually still do sometimes, like hop on each other's streams. Those streamers were Leon from Andy and Leon Play. You might know him as Leon the Shapeshifting Chameleon on Discord. And Delris7, whose name I'm sure everyone in the chat knows because of notable landmarks like Handcart Gulch and the locomotive that's named after him. I think number 25 or 26, I don't remember which one it is. But so the three of us started this like kind of streaming collective where we could stream games together. Delris was doing Outer Wilds, Leon was doing Subnautica, and I was doing like Derail Valley and Transport Fever and Fallout New Vegas. And, so eventually we were like, okay, so there's like 60 people in this chat. We need to give this a name. And we had this running joke where we just used the blueberry emoji on everything. And like there would just be like 16 people who were reacting with the blueberry emoji. And one day I just went to Doris and was like, what do you think about Blueberry Boys? And he was like, yeah, that works. And that was the name of that Discord. So thinking that those two would eventually join me when Railroads Online came out, I had the idea of naming it like somewhat related to that Discord. But then, Delris started his grad program and he's getting married, and I'm actually playing at his wedding, which is really cool. I am the music director of his wedding. And so he kind of fell off the wagon a little bit with streaming, which is understandable. And Leon had some stuff going on that led him to like stream less, and he only does it on the weekends now. And he's also not really into trains that much, which is also okay. So I ended up naming it the Blueberry Valley Railroad just as the Blueberry Boys Discord kind of sank. So I was like the only active person for a while. And it didn't come until like we had to like put the name on the tender of the original Eureka, which was our original number 3, Uncle Bob, and we were just like, oh, what are we naming this railroad? And I was just like, yeah, fuck it, Blueberry Valley, like let's do it. And that's where the name came from.
Well, that is a very interesting origin story, and unfortunately, when you lose some friends, it leaves you feeling a bit blue.
Haha.
God damn it.
Sproatie, you have 5 seconds to give the name of your railroad if you created one. Go.
Blueberry Valley Railroad. I didn't create one. This was the one I created.
What a brown noser you are.
Oh yeah.
I should also
Joker.
mention that Sproatie is responsible for this Discord. Like he was the one who kind of was like, hey, this Discord's dead. Let's make a new one and have it, turn into a community. Little did we know how big it was going to grow. Like that wasn't supposed to rhyme, but it did. But
Yeah.
Well, we're talking about this Discord and our community of the Blueberry Valley Railroad. We're growing still. What's the end goal for our community here?
In terms of the community side of things, we kind of became one of the chat hubs when the issue with the Railroads Online server went. But in terms of what I see as the end goal is to just keep growing the community, keep growing, have a place where people can come and chat, do these stages, get bigger members of the Railroad Online community, such as people like Heist and things like that. As we've got relatively good contacts with some of the devs. So maybe getting a couple of devs into these streams. We've already got Heist and a few devs already in the server, but they aren't aware of these streams or anything. So how I see it is just keep growing the server and having it to be the place to go for a Railroads Online community outside of the official server.
Trumpet, do you have anything to add to that? I know you are the corrupt CEO and the founder.
Yeah.
So is there any funny business you want?
Well, I mean, ideally, so the way the game's set up right now, we can't have more than 16 people in a session, and and that's post Spline update as well, until Hume writes his own server code and all of that. Ideally, what I envision this to be is, we have a session, 64 people log in, and it's running smoothly as that could be, and we just have everyone working together, delivering products, who knows where. We have passenger trains, mail trains, everyone this is just a community where people can talk about trains, enjoy driving trains, learn about how to be on a semi-functional railroad, and develop it over time so it has an organic history. If people have read the manual for this railroad, there's an entire 45-page section on the lore of from the creation of the rectangle to present day, where we're starting to think about post Spline update sort of stuff. And I just want to keep continuing that history from open to close of the BVRR. And in terms of far future stuff, when new maps come out, that's just uncharted territory. I don't know what it's going to look like, but hopefully we can get those massive 64 player sessions and even run multiple servers, where because we obviously have more than 64 people in right now in the server, in the Discord. So it's when we get the ability to have 64 people, we're probably going to need backup servers, that are also running the same map, where people can do all sorts of things on whatever the Railroad Ronnies wish to do. Yeah, that's about it for that.
All right, so we're talking about the future. Currently, are there any projects being worked on for the server, or sessions, or what's going on currently?
In terms of currently for the community side of things, this is one of the bigger projects that we've got going, the stage, which is the name of this, not just the channel, but I think this whole thing is going to be called the stage. Besides that, we'll be working on a lot of roles. We currently do have a lot of roles coming out, but trying to get people to start maybe progressing into other roles in the server. We can maybe start getting some management things going up, but the main thing that I'm wanting to develop at the moment is getting a active community, being able to engage like this, answer people's questions publicly, and also being able to allow this to be a chat community as well as playing the game. I know a lot of people come here to play the game, but I'd also like a lot of people to come here to talk about the game and trains in general. And then it's kind of a mixed community really there. So at the moment, that's our projects the stage, and a couple of roles to be added, maybe some management roles, and then finally working to build the community, the chat side of the community.
All right. Trumpet, do you ever plan on splitting your Twitch channel and have a BVRR channel versus your random other streams, which I would imagine would be your Mother Tree in Transport Fever 2 or any other games you'd like to play?
Yeah, that's actually a really good question. I've definitely thought about it. The thing is, it took me a very long time to get where I am with this Twitch channel. The only reason why I'm here now at this juncture is because of Railroads Online. And I don't know if right now I'm planning on splitting the stream. I think like if you want BVRR content, for now you can come to my Twitch channel and just get some like hodgepodge of other games thrown in throughout the week. One thing I do want to do is once the game is stable for clients, have multiple people streaming the game if they so wish with the BVRR tag, so you get multiple perspectives of the game. Because what I want to do is kind of turn the streams into YouTube videos for what I'm effectively calling Season 3. We're currently in Season 2 now, which is like post-physics update, but not spline update stuff. And, because I know like people like Astrotrain, like he streams. There's a few other people in here who stream. And like the more people who are doing that, that's more perspective that if they sent me their like raw video, I could just like splice it up and throw it in the YouTube video just to get like a bunch of different like perspectives of like so for example, if like someone's at the ironworks, it's like meanwhile, and then it shows like somebody hauling oil barrels at like down from the refinery, or like so it's like the same session but like people doing different things, so it's like you get like all sorts of different views of what's going on the BVRR. So that's kind of like my initial plan. If this gets big enough where it's like people are coming only for Railroads Online, then I would consider making a Blueberry only Twitch channel. But there is a Blueberry YouTube channel which will be exclusively Blueberry content, because that's what everyone needs in their life is more Blueberry content.
All right. So what about behind the scenes of the BVRR? What do we have going on that people don't see?
Stress.
Well, yeah, a lot of stress. What don't we have going on, honestly? So many of you will know that we have applications to get into the server. So I'm constantly reviewing the application to see if we need to be changing anything with the application itself. So there's a lot of forms going on, as well as the application side of it takes up more than you realise, because every application gets logged. Then there's a lot of applications that we need to confer with as well. Then we've got a lot of the bots going on that we're adding in, replacing to make our lives a lot easier. Reviewing everyone's roles quite often. We also have the forms, which personally I haven't made the Word document forms and things like that. And then a massive one is the in-game decisions. Me and Trumpet are always talking about how we're going to implement things in game, how we're going to add certain techniques, trainings, things like that. It is there's so much going on at the moment in the background, as well as the community side of things, like the chat community side of things, when everyone started joining, I think we had around 90 people join within 20 hours, meaning we had a lot of applications to review, a lot of roles to review, changing all the permissions so people can just come and talk. The forms had to be changed. There was so much to go on that goes on behind the scenes. As well as bringing things like this, the bringing the stage to you guys. It's not just the creation of a channel and that's it. We've got to do our testing. We've got to go over the logistics of things. Will it work? Will we have to stream it? Should we upload it to YouTube, which I believe we will be? What guests can we get on? Things like that. So yeah, there's an awful lot that goes on behind the server that a lot of the members don't see themselves. And just a quick thing to anyone watching on Twitch, you can join our server by just typing in that link on the screen that you can see, and anyone can ask questions in the Twitch chat, or when we are ready after we've done this initial bit, you guys in the server can put your hands up and give us your opinions and ask us your questions in a voice. We'll bring you onto the stage, or if you don't want to do that, you can also just tag Dozer in the chat lounge and he will ask your question for you.
All right, let's move on. We're talking about the Railroads Online server there for just a second, and what's our connection to the Railroads Online's official server? I believe, Trumpet, you could probably handle this better than anyone else.
Well, so it's kind of funny. So I was following. I've been very intently following the production of this game. I do not miss a modeling showcase. Like, it drops, and I have it send me an email when somebody posts in that channel. Like, I love this game with all my heart. I think it is in line to be the best train simulator ever made. And, and I saw that Heiss had a YouTube channel, and that he had this guy named Khan on his channel when he went to visit his world. And I just got a thought just off the top of my head, like, wait, what if I asked him to do that? Also, Brant Gerga in the chat says, I was such an advocate for this game before it was even out. That is true. I was playing Transport Fever, Battlefield 5, Fallout New Vegas, and all I was talking about was Railroads Online. Just like, you guys got to get this game when it comes out. You got to pre-order it. You got to do all this stuff. But anyway, with the Heist thing, I just sent him a message on Discord. I was like, hey, I just saw you did this thing with Khan. If you'd like, would you be interested in coming on our server? And he said yes. First of all, I was taken aback because I was like, wow, this guy's really cool. And, we almost had a scheduling snafu that would have made him not able to do it. But, it ended up working out, and he came on, and we were the first railroad that was not somebody like who's already an established YouTuber that he came on the server for. And, he liked our railroad. I mean, he had a terrible time playing because of all the popcorn and stuff, but it was fun, and it kind of established a relationship because he and I have chatted since about various things, either briefly or in depth. And it's I don't know, it's just good to have that dev-player relationship because, like, as I said, I love this game and I love the community.
So we're touching now on relationships with the devs, and other than Heist, who is, of course, extremely cool and came onto our server, and sometimes on our Discord pops in time to time to say hello and gives thoughts, and is just an amazing person in general. What about the other devs, and do we have any sway over them? Do our opinions mean more to them? Like,
no.
Are the Blueberry Valley in general? What's the relationship with other devs?
Well, so the only thing I think they really know about us is that we are the guys who bought 280 cars and broke the game and were a meme. In their circles, they're like, "What do you need 30 locomotives for?" Like, it's just kind of I mean, because there was, according to another user who was watching his videos, he told me that, one thing that was said on a video was like, oh, wow, the popcorn's not as bad here as it is on the Blueberry, which I found kind of amusing, it's,
We have Kitsu Dawn in the server, who was, I believe, Trumpet. You were in talks with him for a little bit.
Yeah, he found me on Twitch. He was watching a Twitch stream, but I didn't know who he was because he had like a different Twitch name. And I was talking to him about Railroads Online, and he was like, "Yeah, tell me more." And then he joins the Discord, and it's Kitsune, and I was like, "Oh, that was you." Like, but
And then we also have Mickley, who is one of the well-known moderators in the game. Temporary admin now, actually.
wait, Mickley's in here?
No, he isn't in here. But personally, I've spoken to him quite a few times, and he has given us a lot of very good words and praised us a lot just before we became the community hub. When everything went down, I don't think he actually saw Chris. There's quite a few messages that he was posting about us and about his appreciation for the Blueberry
Really?
Valley Railroad in there. Yeah, and then I've messaged him a few times as well. So
That's awesome.
we've got a bit of a we've spoken. It's not really a relationship per se, but he knows a lot about us, and he respects the server and is a big fan of it actually. But he hasn't joined yet, and I say yet because I'll work on it.
You're gonna work your little Sprody magic all over him.
Oh yeah, but in terms of our influence on the game, we haven't really had much of an influence on the devs. I don't think you can influence the devs. They're quite a hard bunch to influence. But
And I mean,
in
they're the
terms,
masters, I'm okay
yeah,
with like just being like a friend to them, like
mm,
someone like a good community member and all of that.
yeah. Um, However, I do believe we had a bit of an influence on the popcorn bug. We definitely brought that to light, especially to Heisen, and he's brought it to light to the other devs in the game. So, in terms of like the popcorn issue, I think we had quite a big part to play in that because, in an unofficial sense, we stress test the game.
Yeah, we really do.
All right. Well, stress testing the game and moving on with the game. Future of the game is coming. What seems to be really quickly. Uh, Models are being cranked out faster than I can say. The Heisler's whistle is great, and what do you think of? What's your favorite newest model that you've seen within the past week?
Ooh, that's tough. Probably the class 125. Um, but also all of them because they're amazing. I just want to address one quick question. Did they ever talk about not yet known plans? No, we
We
do
cannot
not.
disclose. We
We,
cannot disclose.
I mean, we also don't have any inside information that
Yeah,
anyone
we're
else
dumb. We
has.
know nothing.
Yeah, we don't we're not like on the dev team. We don't have access to that sort of stuff. But yeah. Anyway, on with the original question. Favorite model?
My favourite model actually isn't a train. It is the new boxcar, which looks amazing. I am in love with it.
Yes.
I think it just looks so rustic and well designed. Yeah, it just looks. They've done a really good job with the rusting on it and the paintwork and everything. So yeah, it's definitely got to be the box car for me.
Yeah.
My personal favorite
Go on.
is the new set of signs that were posted this afternoon,
They're
and
gonna be
I hope
amazing.
they are a sign of things to come.
Ha ha.
See what you did there.
Um, Speaking of what's to come, what do you see the future of this podcast looking like?
Mm.
Oh, that's a so. I guess my vision for this podcast is to get various devs, if not all of them, one at a time, to talk about trains and discuss that. I'd love to ask that guy Nick Ozarak, the guy who does At the Rail Yard, to come on here if he'd be willing, and just like people in our community who have experience with trains and just talk about like crazy railroad stories. I know I have a few from my experience working at a trolley museum, and that's like, you know, it was supposed to be easy peasy, but it's like dealing with 600 volts is pretty nuts. But what's it called? Yeah, I mean, I'd just like to have more people on here. Have this stage be a place for updates and stuff, like for the server, and kind of explaining like in depth like what we're trying to do, and like you know um, just addressing community concerns and all of that. That's about it for me.
For me, I have big plans for this. Yeah, definitely. We plan on. I think it. There we go. Um, I plan on trying to get, as Trumpet said, get some devs in here, get speaking to them, maybe a few of the mods in the Railroads Online server. Um, a couple of the people that make YouTube videos on the game. There's quite a few people that are making some great content on the game. So we'll get a few of them in here, hopefully, as well as giving you guys new information on the server itself, especially when it comes to the big updates, Series 3, moreover, and giving our opinion on different parts. So the way these podcasts will work is it will not just be a Q&A podcast type thing. It will be a Q&A with a themed podcast. So the next one, for example,
Don't
could
spoil it yet.
be.
Don't spoil it yet. It's
I don't
already
know what
planned.
the next one is. I don't know
Oh,
what the
it's
next one
already
is.
planned.
But for example, the next one could be our plans for Series 3 of it. And then you guys can ask us questions about that. We can tell you our plans about Series 3, things like that. So yeah, big plans as well, and it gets us involved with the community a lot more. If we were just in a normal general chat, then people start talking over each other, and then we just get off topic and all of that. So yeah, I quite like this, and hope. And I'm not sure if I mentioned it or not. These will be going on the YouTube channel as well. So yeah, hopefully it'll be a cool place to just listen and listen to the podcast, see what's going on, get a few guest speakers in here, and maybe find out some information that is less known around the community from the devs.
All right, I think it's time that we open it up to our audience. If they have any questions, I see one is already requesting to speak. So if you want to get them in here and let them ask their question.
Sure thing.
Samurai, you're on the clock.
I think you'll just have to accept the request to speak thing. So how it works is you request to speak, we accept your request to speak, and then you have to accept it again, so you definitely know that you are ready to speak. As well as anyone in the Twitch chat, if you guys have any questions or anything like that, throw them at us. If you want to jump on and speak to us personally about
Alright.
something,
I got a
Please do.
question in the chat, in the Discord chat. What are the current plans for railroad server job progressions do we have, such as getting people on the building team or other things to that?
So job progression, that's a great question. In terms of job progression, I don't want to add absolutely loads of different jobs, but I get people like responsibilities. People like to have a job per se. Um, I say that with quotation marks because I don't want this to feel like a job for people. So yeah, in terms of job progression, there will be stuff to come. We, I believe we may have a maintenance team coming. The guys that will be helping fill up the wood stores, the fuel stores around the map, and potentially moving empty wagons from one place to another. That could potentially be a thing as well. It was mentioned, I can't remember by who mentioned it, but someone brought the idea that like once a week we have someone or people, a team to kind of reset our trains, make sure the trains are fueled up, full of water, and in their designated areas of the map. So it's ready for the next session to jump in and just drive them, and you don't have to worry about fueling them up because it'll already be done for you.
All right. Samurai, you are now with us. What is your question?
Hey guys. So this isn't so much as a question, but I had requested to speak a little while ago when you guys were talking about I don't know, favorite things that they've shown so far. Mine was that 260. Is that the Glenbrook?
So that's interesting because they've announced the like a later, like, and I use later in quotations because it's still a wood burner, but like a later 260. But that engine that's in that screenshot of the trestle, I am almost positive that's the Glenbrook. So I don't know.
If you also see in that, there's also a new caboose in there.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, I
Um,
noticed that as well. Well, yeah, that's all I had. It wasn't really a question. It was I thought you guys were accepting people to speak during that time, but yeah, that's my favorite engine so far that they've shown. Um, Still waiting for them to start modeling work on that 210.
oh yeah, that's
Because
gonna be
that's
fun.
all we need is tractive effort.
Yes.
Hashtag bring big
Thank you,
boy.
Samurai, for coming on with us. We have another request from the audience, so we're going to get them up here.
All
Hashtag
right.
bring big boy back.
Mhm.
All right. Next guest coming on will be Merlin, and while we wait for him,
There was no
engineers
waiting.
from. Oh, there he is.
He's
Actually,
here.
we're going to get to that question later.
I
Merlin,
am
welcome.
very fast. So I was wondering because we have like the what was it, 2 or 3 seasons, in the like Railroads Online server. Um, are they gonna be merged at some point where there is like simultaneous running of the coal mine, the iron mine, and the whole oil field industry?
Hmm. Well,
I
so
think.
the
Yeah.
well, so the seasons sometimes overlap. Like, so we're currently in oil season right now, and just to refresh for those that don't know, our seasons basically consist of the iron mine and the coal mine fill up the stocks at the smelter and ironworks all the way to 1,000, and then those mines shut down until those reserves are empty because we don't need to keep bringing trains down there because we just like don't have enough people available right now to like constantly be running trains doing that. So, but with oil season, is you often have extra products left over that but the iron ore supply might be empty. So while iron trains are bringing things to the iron mine, the BSRR is still like cleaning up all of the last possible cargo deliveries at the Southern Industries. Um, And usually, like, based on what we've discovered now, is coal does not get eaten very fast. Like, we delivered 1,000 coal there, and we're still at like 700, and it's been like 3 weeks. So, just constantly bringing beams and stuff. So it's kind of like on and off, you know. It's like, but when coal season happens, it's like that's what is happening. And then, like, you know, oil season is like to make oil barrels as much as possible, and we have made a lot, so it's kind of like overlap, you know. Like, it's not like a set thing, like this is when we do this and this is when we do that. It's not like really planned. It's like, oh well, the iron's empty, we got to run iron trains, sort of thing.
Right. Okay. Thanks.
Great, thank you, Merlin, for joining us. We have a question from the Twitch chat. Engineers versus conductors. Which team will win in a train battle?
Probably the conductors, because in this era they carried guns.
In terms of the server side of things, I would say engineers, because we use the extension. There is less and less need for conductors because you can reverse a train without needing to be in the train. So I'm going to say engineers for that one.
All right.
To add to that question, and do put it in the Twitch chat as well as the Discord lounge. Are there more doors or more wheels? We'll come back to the answer to that question later, but are there more doors or more wheels? We want to see your opinions.
All right, and I think we're going to move on to rapid fire questions.
Ooh.
For both Trumpet and Sproatie, because we're going to ask you for your first question. Are there more wheels or doors in the world? Sproatie.
Doors. Definitely doors.
Trumpet.
Wheels, because trains. Well, actually, so I was talking, somebody asked me this on a dating app. They were like, do you think there are more wheels or doors in the world? And if we're going based on just the ratio between vehicles, cars have a 1-to-1 ratio between doors and wheels. Trains have a 1-to-4 ratio, because most trains have 4 axles and each axle has 2 wheels. And, yeah. And also steam locomotives, so...
Yeah, but I think the thing that most people forget is that buildings have doors
cupboard
and no
doors,
wheels.
kitchen
you
doors.
know what? It probably is doors.
You can't
next...
change your decision
yeah,
there.
All right, next rapid fire question. Favorite fast food joint? Sproatie.
McDonald's.
Trumpet, we already know the answer, but
Nope.
say it.
Cane's Fried Chicken.
That's not what the McDonald's bag in your background earlier said.
Well, no, but see, here's the thing. I hate McDonald's. I buy it because it's fast, it's cheap, and it does the job.
It does the job. Next question. You get to ride one rail line anywhere you want in the world. Where are you going? Sproatie.
Oh God. I don't really know of many famous ones, so I would say some larger heritage one in the UK. I love the North Yorkshire Moor Railway. That's an awesome one.
Trumpet.
Well, I'd probably want to ride the Boston and Maine Railroad out of North Station all the way to Portland, but not on the Downeaster route. I'd want to take one of the 7 other ways they used to get there. You know, it's probably similar to like the T nowadays, but I'd like to like see it back in like the, you know, the 1950s or the 40s where they still had the P5 Pacifics. Yeah.
All right. Last show you watched on a streaming service or on television in general.
Line of Duty. on the BBC iPlayer. Fantastic. If anyone can watch Line of Duty, do watch Line of Duty.
Also, we do have, I believe Jonas wants to hop in. He has a railroad story.
Railroad story. I can't see where that is.
Yeah, I'll invite him in.
There we go.
So,
Hey,
good evening. Greetings from Switzerland.
Hello.
Greetings. Welcome to the Blueberry Valley Railroad Podcast.
Thank you very much. So, as a background for the story, I volunteer at a narrow gauge railway. Yay. I am a fireman, and in the winter I do some mechanic stuff. And last year we had a power washer to degrease some big brake lever gear stuff from a locomotive. In the evening it was dinner time, so we unhooked it, but just electrically, and we forgot to turn off the hose. Shortly before midnight, a couple or a lot beers deep, one guy comes in, says, "Hey, out in the shed, it sounds like a waterfall." So we go out, look down in the pit, and what do you see? Water.
Oh no.
We go one floor further down, underneath the shed, where we have all the oil, and there's like 2 centimeters of water. Not too bad, we could pump everything out. Then we notice that shed has a oil burner for heating, and that has a tank. And guess where the water ran down? Right over the tank.
Oh
The
no.
tank was like in a bathtub in case the oil spills out. So the wet water ran over the tank, filled that bathtub, and the tank swam up to the ceiling. And all the little oil lines were bent.
Nice.
Oh man.
Nice.
That's a rough one.
Yeah, but that lower floor gets flooded like one every year or every second year. Normal there. Yeah, that was the story.
All right. Well,
Nice.
thank you for joining us and sharing your stories. We love to hear stories, and I think that actually might be a future episode where we just have a bunch of people on telling their classic railway stories as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd probably need to write down a thing or two so I get all the story in one go.
All right. Thank
Yeah.
you, Jonas, for joining us.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
All right, and I think this is going to be our last set of quick draw questions. You get to visit one country in the world. Where are you going?
At the moment, I would like to go to the Netherlands because I have a friend out there that I would love to meet. But besides that, America.
Trumpet?
Somewhere hot, maybe Australia or New Zealand or I can't pick one. There's too many.
All right. Blueberry Valley Railroad road trip when?
I believe it's in 2 weeks' time.
That has to happen. There has to be an like IRL Blueberry thing where we go to a bunch of railroad museums and hang out. I'd really like to do that at some point.
That would be
All
great.
right. So this will be the end of the first episode. Meet the crew of the Blueberry Valley Railroad Podcast. Next episode, we have planned out running the BVRR. So we're going to ask you to leave your questions for us on the BVRR Discord about how we run this beautiful railway. And for Trumpet and Sproatie, this is Dozer. I'd like to thank you for choosing us, and thank you for stopping by, as we'll see you next time.
That's the tagline. We did it.
That's the best thing ever.
All right.
Well, thank you very much for joining us, and hopefully you enjoyed. Please leave any feedback you've got for us in the Discord server itself, in the channel. That would be amazing, so we can help improve these sessions even more, and hopefully we will get a guest speaker on in the future. Maybe not the next episode, but the one after.